Hello, welcome to the Re-Internet Comfort with me, the Opposition Live. My name is Antoinette Smith, and I am your author. Remember to get your books, get your books, get your books, people. Some of them are on sale at Barnes& Noble, Amazon, Google, Apple iTunes, Walmart.com, Target.com, Books A Million, Kobo, Indigo, Tales, and Books A Million. All of them come in paperback and digital version. Get your copies today. We are still reading from the Re-Internet Comfort book series, volume 1, 2, and 3. We are still currently in volume number 2. It is titled The Death of a Girl. It is from age 12 to 16. And we're talking about teen pregnancy. I'm going to read from this book 2 more times. This time and one more time, okay? And then we're going to be finished with this book, okay? So we are reading from chapter 6 today. It is titled Troubled Pregnancy. Troubled Pregnancy. And this is December 1988. I went to my doctor's visit in late December, and she said that my baby had not grown since my last visit. She asked me if I felt movement. I said, yes, ma'am. I felt her all day. She checked her heartbeat and told my mother the heart rate is good. I'm sending her for an ultrasound today to get the measurements. I went for the ultrasound, and they confirmed that I was having a girl. They didn't know for sure, but I prayed for a girl. The doctor called my mother and said she was sending me to the hospital for more testing, that she would meet us there at 6 a.m. When we arrived, they told my mother that the test would take about 4 hours. She could either stay or she could leave. But they said they have to see the baby in action for 4 hours and find out why her growth had stopped. So they monitored me for 4 hours and told me and my mother that they were going to have to watch me closely. We had two options. One was to terminate the pregnancy now. Two, to take a chance of losing me and the baby. The doctor said Antoinette's body has taken over because she wasn't fully developed. So her body is taking all the nutrients for itself and the baby isn't getting anything. The baby will not grow another inch, nor will she gain another pound. Antoinette has until May before this child is born. The baby will not survive the entire pregnancy due to the lack of nutrients and cutoff of oxygen supply. Antoinette has toxemia, which is dangerous. In pregnancy, it causes high blood pressure, swelling of hands, feet, and face, with high deposits of protein in the urine. I explained in the beginning that this pregnancy was high risk. Think and talk over your decision tonight, and I will see you back here at the hospital in the morning. We will be doing more tests. So we left. I'm crying. My mother's upset because she could lose another child and a grandchild. Lord help us. I said to my mother, Ma, they're not going to take my baby. She will make it. God is not going to let me get pregnant and take my baby. Yes, but I know God is going to. She said, Tuki, you and your baby could die. Do you realize that? Wait a minute. Do you? Yes, but I know God is not going to take her, Ma. I'm still crying, holding my stomach. My mother said, stop crying. That makes your blood pressure go up. We went home, and I sent my brother next door to get my baby's daddy to tell him about the news. So he met me in the yard that divided our properties from theirs. I was crying, telling him what they were trying to take my baby. They said to me, they said that me and my baby could die. Please don't let them take my baby. You know my mother didn't want me to have this baby to begin with. He said, Tuki, stop crying. Ain't nothing gonna happen to you or the baby, okay? He was hugging me when my mother came outside. Get in the house. I'm here trying to decide if you're going to keep your child or not, or I could lose you both, and you out here homonging around. You want to be a slut or a hoe? Get in this house. My baby's daddy yelled and said, she ain't no whore, no slut. I told him to just leave it alone. I'm going inside. I'll call you and let you know. He said, don't let them take our baby. Them doctors don't know anything. I said, okay, I love you. My mother said, you don't know anything about love. If you did, you would know it was like a faucet. You can turn it on and turn it off. I just looked at her and went into my room. I didn't have the strength to argue with her. I was tired. So for the next 2 weeks, they did tests on me and my baby 4 to 6 hours at a time because I chose to keep my child. After the second week, they said that they would have to hospitalize me to save me and this child because they couldn't control my blood pressure. If I sat up straight, it rose, so I would be bedbound as of tomorrow. Go home, pack your bag and your baby bags. You will be here until the baby is delivered. And it was February 1989 then. So I told my mother I needed to go to Kmart to purchase a baby bed, clothes, car seat, and to get myself some clothes for the hospital. She said, I have to go get money from your daddy. I said, I already have money. She said, you need hundreds of dollars to purchase this stuff. It's not cheap. I said, I have over $1,000. She and my uncle looked at me. Where did you get so much money? Are you stealing from your daddy? No, my baby daddy gives me $200 every Friday. Plus, I have my own money. So we go to Kmart and I start to get the items I wanted. My uncle, who is a klepto thief and would steal sweetness out of a cake if you didn't watch him, said to me, pick out all your baby clothes and blankets you want, but I'll get them for you. I need the money. Just buy the big items and your personal items and I'll get the rest. I said to my mother, I would feel bad if he goes to jail because he is our only help. She said he's gonna see whether we are with him or not. So I gave my mother $200 or $300 to help her out. I said I need to go to my aunt and uncle's house to give them some money for letting you stay there with them because I know you will be staying with them until I come home. So my uncle got all of my clothes, got all the clothes I picked out and more. He was on drugs as well. I gave him the money and I said, or do you want drugs? He said, what did you say to me? I said, do you want the money or do you want cocaine? He said, I know you're not selling drugs. Do you know what drugs are? Excuse me. I said, yes. I don't tell, and yes, and don't tell my mother. She would go ballistic. She don't know that I sell drugs at my daddy's house on the weekends since last year. See, my two uncles and I were cool. I mean, real cool. I would talk to them and tell them stuff, and they would give me good advice. They were my mother's two brothers, not the married into the family uncles. So he didn't spill the beans on me, but said I better be careful and tell my mother. So I spent time with my two brothers and told them that I would be in the hospital until I had the baby and to keep good and to be good help to mama. I told my younger brother, who was 2 years older than me, that I was sorry I would miss his basketball games, track meetings, band parades, but that I love him and gave him some money. He always needed money for sports and activities he was in. Excuse me. The next morning, I told my mother I told my mother to stop by my aunt and uncle's house. I wanted to give them something for allowing her to stay there and to continue to let her stay there until I was out of the hospital. They would let her stay anyway, but my mother always said, you can wear out your welcome anywhere but home. So show hospitality. I gave my aunt and uncle $300 worth of crack cocaine and told them that when I get out of the hospital, I will give them more for accommodating my mother. Lord, my aunt went flying into the house and told my mother what I gave them. She tasted it to see if it was real and told my mother I gave them an 8 ball of cocaine. My mother said, of what? Drugs. She gave us drugs. My mother said, where did you get those drugs from? Your daddy done showed you how to deal drugs. I'm killing him. I just couldn't win for losing. I'm always trying something. I'm always, wait a minute. It's always something with you. I just can't take any more from you, Tuki. I said, Mama, calm down. It's okay. Everything is okay. Just rest. So we went by to see my father, and he told my mother that he loved. Wait a minute. We went to see my father, and he told me that he loved me and I would be fine, not to worry. He would take care of everything with my mom and he was still communicating with my baby's daddy, so we will all be good. I checked into the hospital and they began to test me daily from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. One day stress test, next day non-stress test. They would draw fluid from my placenta because because as the baby organs develop, they release certain cells to show maturity. So they did this along with ultrasounds every week until April the 20th. And then they said that my baby was fully developed and handling the pressures of contractions well. So they would induce my labor and allow me to have the baby on April the 25th, 1989. They were sure I could have a natural because my hips had parted, but cervix had thinned out. They said, we didn't know how this child would survive for 4 months without getting any more nutrients from the mother. My baby never gained another ounce nor grew another inch since December. The doctor said even though my pregnancy was full term, the baby was considered a premature baby, and she might have to go into premature care, NICU care. The day had come to deliver my bundle of joy. My baby father couldn't be there because of the police, but he had been to see me 3 to 4 times each week since I had been there. My entire family was at the hospital to support my mother and fathers, who were there too. It's amazing that my family was so upset with me, but through all the trouble, they were all back as. Wait a minute. My entire family were at the hospital to support my mother and fathers, who were there too. It's amazing that my family was so upset with me, but through all the trouble, we were back as a close family. All praises to God. They knew my mother needed the support of her family. She has been the rock of our family since forever. Everything comes through her. My aunts took turns coming to see me during labor, and they were scared, asking, "Are you okay?" I told them I was hungry. I was starved. They starving me. My aunt said, "Do you know where you are? When you come through those girl, you yelling for help and you want to get this baby out of you. No food." She gave me some lemon heads and a sucker because that's all she had. Then she kissed me and hugged me and said they will be outside. My mother kept walking back and forth, asking me, "Are you okay?" every 5 minutes. "Mama, please don't ask me am I okay again. I'm fine. No, I'm not in pain. I'm tired and you keep waking me up. Please, I'm hungry. Plus, I'm hungry." So of course my feelings were hurt. So of course her feelings were hurt, and she began to cry. "Mama, stop crying. I'm fine. I just want to help my baby. I can't help you." The nurse said to my mother, "When they get close to having a baby, they get very irritated. So don't take it personal. We about to check to see how many centimeters Antoinette is, okay?" So the nurse checked and said, "Let me call the doctor. You have just jumped from a 3 to a 8. She will be delivering soon." My mother cried harder. So the nurse said, "Ma'am, just step out. Just step out into the waiting room, please. You're upsetting Antoinette. It is 8 p.m. on a Thursday." The nurse broke my water and delivered my first child at age 13 at 8:48 p.m. on April 25th, 1989, a beautiful baby girl. She weighed 4 pounds and 4 ounces, 18 and a half inches. She was born with her eyes wide open, came out looking around. "Oh my God, she is here and she's so little." I counted all her fingers and toes and looked over her whole body. She had a head full of hair. Her father named her after him. The family got to see her and she was completely healthy. The doctor said she only had 4 layers of skin instead of 5. So we had to keep her bundled up. She would have to weigh at least 5 pounds before she go home. On May 5th, 1989, I brought my baby girl home on the birthday of her grandmother and her father's mother's side. He and his family came to the hospital to see our new bundle of joy. He was so proud and excited to see her and scared to hold her because she was so small. He and his parents came and had dinner with me at the hospital against my mother's wishes, of course. But my father convinced her to leave us alone. We have a child together, and he is willing to take care of me and the child. What more could she want? And I'm going to end the chapter right there. Remember to get your books, get your books, get your books. People, we are reading from the Real Internet Come Forth, Volume Number 2, titled The Death of a Girl, and it's from childhood to motherhood, and we're talking about teen pregnancy. Teen pregnancy, and I'm going to read from this one more time. So remember, until we meet again, God gets the glory, and I tell the story. Goodbye.